I am Dayan, and this is an overview of the Saskatchewan Immigrant Nominee Program. If you're planning to start your Canadian immigration journey, please subscribe. The Saskatchewan Immigrant Nominee Program, or SINP, is a provincial nominee program and has three categories. The Saskatchewan Experience category, which is for people living and working in Saskatchewan, the Entrepreneur and Farm category, for those who plan to start a business or operate a farm in Saskatchewan, and the most popular, the International Skilled Worker category. Since this is the relevant stream for most of you, we'll be discussing it in detail. Through this category, the SINP can nominate skilled workers who want to live and work in Saskatchewan. It has three subcategories: the Employment Offer category, which requires a job offer from the province, the Saskatchewan Express Entry, and the Occupations in Demand. The last two categories are very similar and we would be discussing them side by side. The only difference is in the IELTS requirement and the IRCC application processing. The first three steps are the same for both categories. First, you need to submit an expression of interest or EOI on the SINP portal, named Oasis. The link to their portal is in the description below. Here, you create an account, fill in your information, and submit the EOI. There is a detailed guide available on this, which can be downloaded from the link in the description below. Once you have submitted your expression of interest, you would be placed among other applicants in a pool. Please don't confuse it with the Express Entry pool. This is a separate pool for SINP candidates. Your score is determined in accordance with the information you have entered under the SINP assessment grid, which is covered in the later part of this video. The candidates with the highest scores are invited to apply. Once you receive the SINP invitation to apply, you log into the same portal and submit the required documents along with the application fee. Now the two programs take different paths. Under the Saskatchewan Express Entry category, you receive a nomination from the province within your Express Entry profile. The nomination adds 600 points to your Express Entry profile, guaranteeing an invitation to apply or ITA in the next row. After the ITA, you apply for the Immigration to Canada online. Under the Occupations in Demand category, you do not need an Express Entry profile. And since you don't have an Express Entry profile, you receive a nomination certificate, in contrast to the nomination in the Express Entry profile under the Saskatchewan Express Entry category. You then have to file a paper application to the IRCC for Immigration to Canada, in contrast to the online application under the Saskatchewan Express Entry category. So what are the minimum requirements under the SINP? The minimum funds required against the number of family members have been listed. The requirements are the same as Express Entry. Under the SINP, the minimum requirement for experience is just 1 year, but it has to be in the NOC category 0, A or B. A detailed video on finding your NOC is available with a link in the description below. When you have found your NOC code, please make sure that it is not included in the list of ineligible occupations for the SINP. A link to the list is in the description below. For educational requirements, you only require a 1-year degree, diploma, or certificate. Further, you need to score 60 out of 100 points in the SINP assessment grid. We'll discuss that in detail. The points under SINP against each level of education have been listed. You get a maximum of 23 points for masters and 20 points for bachelors. Similarly, the points under SINP against the amount of experience in the last 5 years have been listed. This must be relevant work experience, which means that this experience should be in the same field as your education. The next section shows SINP points for relevant work experience but in the last 6 to 10 years period. You have already claimed points for experience for the last 5 years in the last step. In this step, you claim points for any experience before that. Say you have a relevant work experience of 7 years. You would have claimed 10 points for the last 5 years in the last step, and in this step, you would claim 2 points for 2 years of experience. One difference between the Saskatchewan Express Entry and the Occupations in Demand category is the minimum required IELTS score. The minimum required score under the Occupations in Demand category is Band 4. 4.5 in listening, 3.5 in reading, 4 in writing and speaking. Whereas the minimum required score under the Saskatchewan Express Entry category is Band 6, with 6 in each listening, reading, writing and speaking. The next section covers the SINP points for age. You get the highest points for the ages between 22 and 34. There are some other factors for which you can claim points under the SINP assessment grid. For example, if you or your spouse have a family relative who is a Canadian citizen or permanent resident living in Saskatchewan. Family relatives include parents, siblings, grandparents, aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews, cousins, and step-family members. You also get points for past education or work experience in Saskatchewan. Is it really as easy as it sounds? Looking at the SINP assessment grid, you can see that 30 out of 100 points are for having a connection to Saskatchewan, relatives, education, or work experience. This means that for most people, you have to score 60 points out of 70 instead of 100, which makes it difficult. You should calculate your points under the SINP assessment grid and check out the latest draw results to assess your chances. How much does it cost to apply under the SINP? $350 Canadian dollars, but you have to pay it after the invitation to apply from the province. And how long does the application processing take? The Saskatchewan Express Entry applications are generally processed quicker than the Occupations in Demand applications. The estimated application processing times are updated every quarter, and a link to those are in the description below. Questions? Feel free to ask in the comments below.